I love acting and I love making films and I love the TV work I've been a part of. But I am very comfortable with the level it is at now, where I get asked for a selfie, maybe, a couple of times a day. The other thing that people experience, I just don't know that I'm built for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
Hey guys, it's Josh, and welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. We have a very familiar face on the podcast. Returning today, it is Taron Egerton talking She Rides Shotgun and Smoke and Kingsman and Wolverine and all sorts of other things. Always great to have Taron back on the pod. This is a great chat. Thanks, guys, as always, for checking out what I do over here. Quick reminder, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Happy, Sad, Confused for all the info on upcoming events, merch, all sorts of bonus materials. Support us over there so we can make more stuff over here. Speaking of events, we have a big one coming up. August 15th, Los Angeles. If you happen to be there, get your tickets now because these tickets will go. Seth Rogen and Ben Stiller together. It would be one thing if it was one of them. That would be cool. Seth Rogen, amazing. Ben Stiller, amazing. They're coming together for a very unique, one-of-a-kind conversation with me for Happy, Sad, Confused. They, of course, are at the helm of these two juggernauts, two of my favorite shows on TV, Severance and The Studio. Also, their parallel careers as actors, comic performers, directors, two of just the smartest guys in the business. So it's going to be a really cool night. Get your tickets now, August 15th. It's going to be at the Fine Arts Theater, where I've hosted a couple things in the past. I hope to see you guys there. Okay, so quick preamble on Taron. He is a Happy Sad Confused regular, I would say. It's probably, I think, his third time on the podcast. He's in a really cool, interesting space in his career right now. He's done the blockbuster stuff, of course, but now he's really found this cool niche, and he'll talk about this in the conversation of these character parts. This is his second Apple show in a row. With Dennis Lehane, great writer at the helm. This one's called Smoke. He's talking about that in this conversation. It's a really compelling drama about, he's an arson investigator. Journey Smollett is a co-star in this. And I'm not going to reveal too much here, but I will say in this conversation, we do get into some spoiler territory. So keep your eyes and ears peeled if you don't want Smoke spoiled for you. Tread cautiously. That's my warning on that. He also talks a bit about She Rides Shotgun, which is this fantastic new film. I believe it's opening, I want to say August 1st. Yeah, August 1st. And this is a small indie, but a really cool, compelling drama thriller. He plays an ex-con trying to protect his daughter. He's on the run. A real passion project for Taron. He's a producer on the film. So, really cool to catch up with him. Like I said, coming off of like the Kingsman films and obviously Rocket Man, and to now, as he says, really chasing and embracing these character pieces. He's trying to balance out that career, and I think the blockbusters will always be there for him. Yes, we do talk about Wolverine. It always comes up. He has some really interesting things to say about that, about whether he'd make a good Wolverine, whether he'd even want to play Wolverine. Some surprising stuff to hear, maybe. And a little bit about the future of Kingsman to boot. So a lot to enjoy in this conversation. I think you guys will dig it. So without any further ado, please enjoy me and Taron Egerton. All right. I'm joined not only by Taron Egerton, it's Taron Egerton's iPad, as you can see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. It's good to
Oh
see you,
yeah.
buddy. How
You
are you, man?
too, mate. Yeah, I'm good, man. Like everybody else, trying my best.
Just
Doing okay, I
surviving.
think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So are
Yeah.
you between jobs right now? You've got a couple things to promote,
Yeah.
but are you gearing up for something,
Yeah.
coming off of something? Give me a sense of where you're at.
I don't know. I did finish something a couple of months ago, so I suppose we'll say I'm coming off something because that sounds like I'm very, very busy.
Always in demand.
Um, yeah. I made a movie at the start of the year, and I was in Australia for a few months, and I have something that is at the end of the year, but I think I'm looking at a few months of chilling out. I think I'll be filming again, but November. I think so. I'm told. I'm just an actor, man. Do what I'm
Go when
told
they
when I'm
when they
when I'm told.
when you're called
Yeah,
upon. How are you
yeah.
nowadays, having done this for more than a minute with managing downtime, managing the months of waiting of like we're getting the financing together
Terrible,
when like are you
terrible.
yeah.
It's yeah. It's actually funny you asked that. It's one of the big things in my life that I'm really cognizant of trying to get better at because um, I find it challenging. I really love being busy and I love working and I love filming. It's great to have a big focus, but I do find the downtime more challenging. It's becoming clearer to me as I've entered my mid 30s that you really have to impose a structure and kind of build a structure when you don't have one imposed upon you by filming because it can be challenging otherwise. I mean, no one wants to hear an actor complain about their life, and I don't intend to, but I'd say it's one of the challenges of what I do for a living, that the kind of um, the feast and famine, all or nothing nature of it, you know.
Well, it's also like the nature of when you're in production is you are so in it and you are given your
Mm,
schedule, you're given your times, you're kind of like you're taken care of to a degree and you're also
mm,
kind of have a very singular purpose. And I know some actors like almost to the detriment of their personal life can like, I'm off the grid for the next 4 months. Like I'll talk to you in four
yeah.
months when I'm done with the job. So it is feast
Mm,
or famine. It's either like, oh my God, I'm suddenly like I have no idea what to do with myself, or it's like I'm so laser focused, there's nothing else. And that's an odd
yeah. It is
feeling.
odd, but but also a great joy, you know. I mean, it means my life is kind of my life is made up of adventures,
Yeah.
and they're wonderful and they're glorious and they're in amazing places and different cities and different parts of the world. And as far as possible, I'm playing somebody who's lived a completely different life from myself, and I love all that. All that's great, but it can be hard to just come back down to earth a little bit. And
Yeah.
it's and I yeah, I sort of yeah, I don't know. Like the thing I did at the start of the year was quite um it was really all consuming. It's one of the more extreme things I've done. It's to me and one other actor in the wilderness for months on end,
Wait, which one is this?
and
This is an Apex, is it? Is this Apex?
yeah, this is Apex. I I don't know. I've not seen a cut or anything of it, but yeah, it's pretty out there for
So wait,
sure.
who
I
who who
definitely.
who wait, who are you sharing? Because I thought there were a few actors attached. Isn't Charlize in there? Is it you and Charlize, or who are you hanging in the wilderness with?
It's me. It's for about I'd say 90% of the movie. It's just me and Charlize. Yeah,
Oh, this is a joy. They pay you for that. That's amazing.
yeah,
She's one of my favorite human beings. I mean, you can now attest to
yeah.
this.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she's an
So
amazing, amazing person.
yeah, and so funny and filthy in the best possible way. I'm obsessed
Yeah,
with her.
yeah.
Well, that okay. So we have time to talk about that. Okay, we're gonna get into. I want to get into Smoke and She Rides Shotgun. We have two
Mm,
purposes, two things to talk about today. First, before we get to those two, I'm just curious, like where you're at right now, because the last time we spoke, it was another Dennis Lehane Apple series, and you were. I feel like you're in this interesting transitional point as an actor, both dictated by kind of your interests, but also where the industry's at. Like the
mm.
industry is so different than when you and I started talking, like when you're doing the Kingsman
Yes.
films and Eddie the Eagle, etc. Like
Yeah.
studio filmmaking is very specific and it's blockbuster or bust. Streaming is taking
Yeah.
over. These prestige
Yeah.
shows are very rewarding for actors. Just give me a sense of
Mm.
how different the environment is for you now versus when we were talking 10, 15 years ago.
Well, I guess I did. I experienced the very tail end of ubiquitous, as you say, larger budget or middle to large budget studio filmmaking, or some version of it, because the way Matthew made films wasn't really is kind
That's
of a little
fair.
structured a little differently.
Yeah,
But yes, you're right. I have definitely felt that I have had to adapt and kind of shift with a changing industry. But it's really not something I've been cognizant of in the decisions I've made. And it was actually only when somebody said to me recently, in a kind of lamenting fashion, I hadn't been in a theatrically released movie since Rocket Man, that it really, and it kind of stopped me in my tracks and made me, for a second, I suppose, wonder if I, only for a brief second, but it shocked me. It shocked me for a moment, and I thought, oh wow, am I not fulfilling some expectation of myself or fulfilling something I should have done? But the fact of the matter is, very, very little is made and works in that fashion anymore. And the choices that I've made, certainly, I have to say, if I'm completely honest, the choices that I'm making over the past few years and the parts I'm playing are much, much, much more in line with my taste and my aspirations as an artist, to use a
Yeah.
lofty term, but it is, than the movies I was playing, than the characters in the movies I was doing in the first 5 years of my career. I loved Kingsman, and I love working with Matthew, and I hope to do more with him one day. But I really have loved the opportunities afforded to me through Apple and Dennis Lehane,
Yeah.
both Blackbird and now Smoke. They are really, really interesting and really challenging parts, particularly this latest one. It's definitely the hardest role I've played. Um, and and yeah, the thing with Charlie is at the start of the year is my attempt, and indeed Smoke, and also my film that comes out this summer, She Rides Shotgun. They're all kind of in line with the. I suppose I'm trying to tread a line between pursuing character roles because those are the things that stimulate me.
Yeah.
But I do also like the feeling of being, I suppose, a leading actor. That's a nice feeling too. It's nice to feel like you're at the 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 spearhead of the storytelling. Um, and also, not to be crude or crass, I also have aspirations in terms of the lifestyle I want and the lifestyle I want to help to provide for people who I care about.
Yeah.
And those are all real world things. So juggling all of those things is, I guess, what's led me to where I am now, which is um, a place I'm reasonably comfortable with, I think. I think.
And the proof's in the pudding. The performances are great. I mean, I don't want to. We're not going to reveal. I think well, by the time this runs on the Smoke front, it's going to be 6 or 7 episodes in. I've seen the entire thing, so I don't know
Oh,
if you're
you have?
comfortable. Yeah, it's fantastic, and I won't ruin the ending for folks, but I'll just say this: the final moments of you on screen, just stay to the end because it is just one of the great
It's
endings in a series I've seen in a
Oh,
long
thanks,
time.
man. It's pretty
Um,
batshit, but I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So for those that don't know, you alluded to this. This is you reteaming with the great Dennis Lehane. Obviously, a very rewarding experience on Blackbird. Another dark, complicated character, but this character, an arson investigator who we'll start with like one non-spoilery part, then we'll get into spoiler stuff.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Sure.
but we can say there's a lot of duality to this character. He is an unreliable narrator to say the least. Um,
Yeah.
this must be so. Was this immediately obvious of how juicy an opportunity, how interesting a challenge this could be for you as an actor?
Yeah. 100%. My heroes are actors like Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins, and I've always felt like I always have felt like this role because it's a role that's been in development for a few years now. We started talking about it when we finished Blackbird, but it always felt to me like something that would be worthy of an actor like that. It's complicated and dark and very ugly, and I think a challenge. I think I'm not for a second. Please don't mistake me. I'm not comparing myself to Gary Oldman, but I am saying that if there's someone I could be, it would probably be him. Not I'm aware that's ridiculous, but and this role of Dave in Smoke from the get-go, it just felt like something that was too good an opportunity to pass up. I knew a little bit about the story when Dennis approached me about it, and I feel that given the time, since we're at the time of recording, the fourth episode is out, so the first, I feel like we can
We
delve
can go in.
into
So yeah,
this.
by
So
the end of
yeah,
what's it's the
yeah.
end of the second episode is the reveal,
So it's
right?
the end of this. So he's an arson investigator, a fairly, I would say, a hapless, maybe even a little oafish arson investigator who is having very little luck in pursuing two serial prolific arsonists. You find out at at the end of the second episode that he is one of them, and so he has this interesting thing where he is not. He doesn't have split personality, but there's certainly a bifurcation of who he is, and quite how concrete that is in his mind is one of the many secrets of Dave, because I do think he really believes he is a hero. And I think the fact he's an arsonist is a really inconvenient truth for him. Um, I think, just like, whenever I think as people, whenever we do things that are bad for us, it can feel a bit like we're on autopilot. And then we go, well, why the fuck did I do that? And I think that's who Dave is when he's setting fires. But anyway, I'm just waffling now, enjoying the sound of my own voice. What did you
No,
ask
no.
me, Josh? I apologize.
Here's what I want to say. I find it very entertaining to watch throughout. I find him to be a fascinating character, a comic character in some ways, like a deeply
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
insecure, sad. Like I love like the aspect of him as like this like failed writer, this like kind of like struggling artist, which I find
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
amusing. I mean, he is yeah. I mean, do you find him? I mean, he's
I think
dangerous.
he
Yeah,
is dangerous, and I think one of the things that I found most difficult about him to marry is that oafish,
yeah,
comedic side of him, the clownish side of him, and then the fact that with his function in the show is to be an antagonistic force and someone who can also be reasonably scary, I think. And I found those things quite difficult to marry in my mind. But just like Dave, I think you just commit from moment to moment. And you mention his aspirations as a writer. That's one of my favorite little features of who he is as a person because it's a really subtle thing, but it says something really uh kind of spiritually eloquent about people where his creative pursuit, it nearly saves him. You notice early on, it nearly is kind of the thing that takes him away from this very dark, destructive side of his nature until until he's rejected, and then it all comes falling down around him. But yes, fascinating role written by the great Dennis Lehane, who's become a, a big creative collaborator in my life, and I really hope we do more together. And yeah, I had a wild ride playing him. I don't mind saying it was hard. The first couple of episodes where you don't really know what's going on with him,
yeah.
I felt like I was flying blind. I didn't really know what on earth I was doing, but
Well,
I think I
from
got
my
away with
vantage
it.
point and many others, it works very well. You kill it as
Thank you.
always. But I feel
Thanks.
like the ulterior motive in your career has been like these associations with great musical artists because obviously you have Elton through Rocket Man. You have no less than Tom York doing the
Mhm.
song for this. Do you have any relationship with Tom York? Like what's the Taron Egerton connection there? That's rare.
And so I really don't think there is one. I like any navel gazing male. I love Radiohead. But I think what happened was my understanding is he saw Blackbird and enjoyed it very much, and so I think it was a fairly straightforward thing when Dennis was embarking on his second outing as showrunner, and that's how it happened. But no, aside from being a lover of Tom's work, there's no personal connection.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little She Rides Shotgun. I got a chance to see this one too. This is another great piece of work. I saw this filmmaker's last film, Gone with Horses, and I clocked him right there. So I'm excited to
Mm.
see you collaborating with him in this. And it's striking on a number of levels. I mean, like we were talking about kind of material you've done. This is probably the smallest production I would imagine. This is an
Yeah.
indie film. This is a 25-day shoot. This is as much as the bells and whistles are, that's kind of like a thriller, maybe even a Western. It's really a character piece. It's you and your
Yeah,
daughter in this. Um,
yeah,
did you find this environment refreshing, different, considering there were a little bit less
yeah,
bells and whistles?
yeah. I mean, again, it was something that arrived in my email inbox, and I'd seen Calm with Horses, and like I think that was a movie that obviously didn't get a wide release, and I don't think was seen by many people outside of the industry, but I think the industry really paid attention to it, and and in particular actors I think really love that movie. It's something that I was very struck by as having a very authored feel. Features two terrific central performances from Cosmo Jarvis and also Barry Keoghan. They're both brilliant in it,
Yeah,
and I suppose whenever an interesting independent filmmaker expresses an interest in talking to me, I'm always quite flattered by that because you know people have their different routes into the industry, and mine was not through independent filmmaking. It didn't build slowly. I dropped into Kingsman, so
yeah,
I don't have those credentials. They're not my kind of stomping ground, or it's not the way I came up, I suppose. And so I'm
yeah.
always
This
very
kind of film is
flattered.
usually like the first three films in someone's career, and you're kind of doing it in reverse engineering now.
Maybe, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. And so I was inspired of Nick, and I read the script, and it just had such heart and soul, and it just I really connected with it really quickly. I loved the role. I loved the relationship with Polly, who is the main character of the film. And I met with Nick, and we sat at a Soho house in London, one of the 1,500 Soho houses in London, and we had just sat and had lunch together and got along, and he asked me to play the role, and then we went and we did it in 25 days in New Mexico, and I produced the movie as well, and really, but more than anything else I've done from the absolute beginning to the absolute end, it's been a real labor of love. It's hard for making a movie like that. It's hard physically, it's hard emotionally, mentally. You have to never kind of waver or doubt. It just takes everything to get the thing made because
Yeah.
it's hard. Um, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love Anna in it. I love the kind of brutality of it mixed with the tenderness of their relationship. And I watch it, and I've seen it a couple of times, and I don't absolutely hate the experience of watching it, which is becoming increasingly unusual for me. And yeah, it's a piece I'm really, really proud of. Really proud of, actually.
I almost never find anything of that much interest in production notes, but I found this fascinating. I read that you asked some notable actors to recommend films that were in the same vein as this film. And I love the people you called upon. I love some of the films they mentioned. I want to talk about this because I'm a
Oh
geek and
wow, yeah,
I
I
love films.
did.
So you hit up you by the way, Gary Oldman is like a new spirit animal of this podcast. I've done a few things with him in recent years, and I am
Yeah,
obsessed with him. I was obsessed with him growing up, but I'm now obsessed with the man too. So
yeah.
he was one you hit up. Has Gary become someone you've kind of, I don't know, forged a bit
Uh,
of a bond with?
Not at all. I wish. No, he and I met at a thing, and he had seen Blackbird and liked it very much, and I had seen pretty much everything he's ever been in and liked it very much. And
Big fan of
and
everything you've done. Everything.
yeah, all of this all works for me. And yeah, my mind is frantically working now to try and figure out what these actors told me to watch because
Well, I can
I
remind
didn't.
you if you want. I think he said
Okay, great.
he mentioned
Straight
straight
time.
time. Yep.
Straight time. So
And
Gary
and
Oldman
the
told me to watch Straight
conversation.
Time,
Yeah.
and The Conversation. The Conversation is one of my favorite films anyway, and but I hadn't seen Straight Time, and it was a really interesting comp for this, and it was lovely actually. Um, but just over text, I mentioned that I was just preparing for something that I loved and a bit about the genre, and just asked him for something that he, I think I asked him and two other actors who I admire for just performances that inspired them or that they thought might be galvanizing or invigorating or whatever. So he said Gary Oldman said Straight Time, uh, and um, and then uh, I asked Stevie G and Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham is actually he is actually a friend. Stephen and I are. He's somebody that I see when we're in the same place, and I'm friendly with Hannah, his wife, and so that was less of a kind of a bolt from the blue. And Stephen said Gary in something.
It was State of Grace. State of
State of
Grace. A
Grace.
relatively early role for
Sean
him, but
Penn. Yeah,
Irish
yeah,
mobster,
yeah.
as I recall. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that's right. Yes. So Stephen Graham said State of Grace. Um, and then God, I don't know this is not a name drop because you've teed me up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but then also I asked Joaquin Phoenix who and I mean he sent like a really long list, like a really, really, really long list, which was lovely of him. But the one that I remember was actually, it was the one that I remember that he was really emphatic about was May, December, and he had been very moved by Charles Melton's performance in that.
Oh,
And I loved that film, and I thought Charles was amazing in it.
yeah.
Um, but I can't remember what else he said. Did I say something different on the
No,
production notes?
you said he sent a long list, so you didn't cite any. So
He
now
sent
we're
a
May
long list.
December. That's
Yes,
fascinating.
yes, yeah, yeah. Um, but I think I was just felt like I was embarking on something that felt very, really stripped back. Very like not a lot of money involved, really, in the grand scheme of things. And it just felt like a very pure experience doing a very intense story with a very young actor, who is, I think, one of the most extraordinary. I think she's up there. I really do. I just think she holds her own against any of the great child performances that I've seen, anyway. And yeah, yeah.
I like what you said about in reference to this and in Smoke in terms of like, Smoke, you're referencing things like, people like Oldman and Hopkins and not to like compare yourself, but to say like it feels like a role that could have potentially back in the day been worthy of them and you want to aspire to their heights. And I think
Of course.
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think a lot of people were really inspired in a way or kind of loved when you probably saw this when Timothy Chalamet won, I think it was a SAG award a year ago. And he said on stage, he's like, I want to be one of the greats. Like, I want to, like, I'm going for it. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not saying you are the greatest, but like, why are you doing this if you're not trying to be, equal or on the same playing field as the folks you grew up worshiping? I don't have a question, but I think
Yeah.
there's nothing to
No, no,
apologize
I think
for
it's
trying
right.
to,
No, I think it's probably very British of me, but I, I don't for a second want to be misconstrued. But yeah, absolutely. This is the only thing I can do. It's the only thing I do, So I want to look to the stars to be like the people mm, that most blew me away when I was deciding this is what I want to do. And one of the amazing things about being a successful actor um, is sometimes you get to ask your
yeah,
heroes,
yeah.
and it's fucking amazing. It's an amazing privilege, and there's a lot about it that sucks. And I know, I actually make no bones about saying that. But like, there's a lot about it that's like great, and that's one of the things that's really great.
It's a real privilege. No, totally. I mean, one of the things that sucks, not to do like the woe is me thing, but I do find it interesting. Like I know you left social media a couple years back and
Yeah,
you're dipping your toe back in now, it seems.
yeah,
And
it's gonna last. It's gonna last until the end of the month. I
that makes
basically just
sense.
wanted to share the trail of the She Rides Shotgun.
I get
Yeah,
it. I get it. But
yeah.
like it does strike me, look, we catch up on every project, but like in between, you kind of disappear. I don't see photos of you at parties or
Yeah.
anything nowadays. And I don't know if that
Yeah.
was different 10 years ago or if this is a lifestyle change or a philosophical change, but like it seems from the outside looking in, you've made a choice to kind of like create a lifestyle and an environment that's healthy for your brain, your body, whatever. Is that fair to say? I don't know.
Yeah, I think oh God, it's a complicated question to answer. You're right. I don't go to things. I don't I'm not somebody who lives in the public eye other than when I absolutely have to. And I think in some ways that's, I could be grandiose about that and say that it's uh a kind of a withdrawing or a kind of something that I feel I don't need, or but the truth of the matter is it's probably based on a fear, on some fear in me, really. I don't, it's not a world I feel comfortable in. It's
Yeah.
not a place I find if I'm on set and I'm doing my thing, I feel very, very, very at home. If I'm stepping out of a car to something where there's photographers and other people who do the same job as me, but I don't know them, I feel uncomfortable in my skin. It's just not
Yeah.
my world really. I actually wish I was better at it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't. It's funny. It's always funny to hear somebody else's perspective on your life. I think that's another thing that's really strange about the job and the life of somebody who is an actor, but also maybe a known person, or you have to reconcile. You have to consistently keep reconciling who you think you are with what other people's perspective of you is, and and it's a head fuck. It's like it's a weird feeling.
Well, yeah, every single day when someone approaches you at a Starbucks on the street, they are bringing some kind of preconceived image connection with you.
Yeah,
It's a one-sided
yeah.
relationship that you're catching up on.
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice. It's like
Oh,
people are nice. It's
yeah,
nice. I forget every day.
right.
Every day I forget, and whenever it happens, it's like I get a job. Like sometimes when people will like, I often walk down the street with my headphones in, and people will tap me on the shoulder, and I jump out of my skin every time. Every time I jump out of my skin, I get a shot of adrenaline and anxiety and neuroses through me because I just am not expecting it. I don't, it's almost, I almost feel a bit like um, I suppose I don't know. I can never quite figure out why.
It's probably better to feel that than to get too used to it. You don't want to be used to being like constantly celebrated and loved. That's a mind fuck of itself. Like, to
Yeah,
be
but I mean
to
that's also that isn't, I'd be grossly misrepresenting what my life is like if I was walking down the street
constant
being
people throwing
constantly
flowers at you.
celebrated love.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah. Anyway, it's
Anyway, yeah.
like anybody else, like everybody else in the world. I really, really, really believe that we all face our own version of the trials and tribulations of life. And mine are truly very pedestrian in comparison to some other people's. So, important to keep all that in perspective as well.
Let me ask you some random stuff about potential upcoming things you might be interested or
Mm,
not. Do you feel some unfinished business about going back to the stage? Obviously, you were doing something on the West End. It ended a
mm,
bit
mm,
prematurely. I know there was some medical
mm.
stuff going on. Does it feel like that's something you feel like, oh, that itch wasn't
Yeah,
properly
I'd love to do
scratched?
it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, there were a few factors at play when I left that stage show. I think for a number of reasons, I think I picked the wrong project. Um, but I also, my mother was very, very ill at the time,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and I was, she was having treatment for cancer, and I'd dropped out of a film when she was diagnosed and came back to the UK to um to help set up her healthcare, and I think it all just got on top of me,
Yeah.
frankly, and I was just taking on way more than I had the bandwidth for at the time. Um, Thankfully, 6 months after that, my mum got the all clear and she's good, so that's a happy ending to that story, which is great. But yeah, I'd absolutely love to go back to the theatre. It's where I started. It's the absolute beginning of my life as an actor. Before drama school and after drama school, before doing Kingsman, I was doing theatre in London. So I'd love to go back, but I guess it's about when the right opportunity comes along.
Yeah. I'm contractually bound year after year to keep bringing up Marvel. I know you love this topic. But last time I spoke to you on
Mm,
stage, I showed you that video of Joe Russo saying you would be the best Wolverine. And I know nothing has
mm.
changed in the world of Marvel, and you're not necessarily
Joe's very
Kate.
sweet. Joe and
Yeah.
I, Joe and I are friends though. He's not being impartial there.
Well,
He's
that's
doing me a
okay.
little
It's good.
solid because
It's
he's my mate.
Did you
Yeah.
follow up with him after the fact? Have you talked to Joe in the
I can't
subsequent?
remember. No, I do talk to Joe and I do, talk to Joe from time to time, but not. I don't think about that. Um. Yeah. I mean, it's really lovely. Uh. That.
Here's
That
my
people
question, because
seem to.
it's
Yeah.
it's a
What is the
tough
question?
well, it's a tough thing to talk about, because there's nothing really to talk about until there's something to talk about. I get it, but like,
Yeah.
do you? I don't know. Like,
Hugh
does
Jackman is Wolverine.
for the
Hugh Hugh
record, until he says
Hugh,
I'm
Hugh,
not.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, and I think uh I it feels like I don't know. I mean, the trouble is that whenever I get asked about this, I have to respond because I hope, a reasonably polite person, but it sounds like I'm the one causing it,
I
and it's
know.
like, no,
I
I'm trying to live my life. I think it's like there was a moment that I won't lie. There was a moment, probably one of the first times the rumor mill wound up about it, where I thought that'd be cool. But I think it never came to anything other than rumor. It
right,
was never, because, well, I guess they haven't included the characters in a fresh iteration.
right.
Um, so it never came to anything. And also, um, Hugh came back, and I
Right.
guess
Set the clock back a little
that's
bit.
yeah, and quite right too. He's completely synonymous with the character, and frankly, even if they do whatever it is, if they were to do it, um, there's some big shoes to fill, and also, as you may have alluded to earlier in this conversation, I don't know that I want that much attention on me, frankly.
Right, right. That's a life
I
changer. That's a
Yeah, I just don't know that that would do me any good, man. I love acting and I love making films and I love the TV work I've been a part of, but I am very comfortable with the level it is at now, where I get asked for a selfie maybe, a couple of times a day. The other thing that people experience, I just don't know that I'm built for it.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. You mentioned once to me, when in that meeting you had way back when with Feige, which I know is a long time
Yeah,
ago, that you actually mentioned a
yeah.
different character to him. Are you ready to spill on what that character was that you brought up with Kevin?
Honestly can't remember, Josh.
Okay, that's convenient, but I'll take it. That's okay. That's okay.
I honestly can't remember.
It's okay.
It might have been Cyclops,
Oh, maybe. You tell, I don't know. Does that ring a
maybe,
bell? Okay.
maybe.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. There was a conversation around that years ago, back when it was a Fox thing. There was a
Right.
Cyclops conversation years ago.
Speaking of Fox, the Kingsman question that always comes up is that,
Yeah,
look, I know you and Matthew are tight. You always will be tight. I assume there's
yeah.
constant conversation.
Yeah.
My concern is you're starting to get into the gray area age-wise, where it's like, you're not old enough to be the mentor quite yet, the Colin
Mm,
Firth,
mm.
but you're not the kid anymore, needless to say. You're a man. So
Well,
like, are you
I
aligned
think
on
it.
what Kingsman 3 would be? Like you and Matthew and Colin and what that story is?
Um, um. So I think it only works if it feels right for where we are in our lives now. And Matthew and I've said this before, we would like to do another one. There is without doubt an appetite for it because it's still the thing I get asked about most. Um, whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I'm not troubled by my age. I think I'm more troubled by it being um, a really worthwhile conclusion to something that started with really my adult life and my
Yeah.
life in this game. So I have strong instincts about what I think it should be, and Matthew isn't he's certainly not going to be a passenger on the ride. So I mean, um, yeah, we'll see. I think it would be a nice thing to do. I don't feel that that story ended in a place where it should be left. Um, so it would be great to do one more. And he and I are, we've Matt as we talked about it as recently as a few days ago. So it is still a thing. It's just, I think, yeah, we'll see, man.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, before I let you
Yeah.
go, a couple of the fans of yours and Happy Second Fuse sent me some questions. Jen simply wants to know an actor you want to work with next. Who's top of the list? Who do you have in mind?
Oh wow. Oh, that's quite a question. I mean, there's so many actors. Um, well, let's say Gary Oldman. That'd be fun.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Robin wants to know, I don't know if this is a project still on your radar, but Happy Head was a novel that I think you got the rights for a couple years ago. Is that still
Mm,
something you're developing, trying to make happen, or?
yes. Yes. We have a script and we're trying to figure out next moves. Yeah, I mean it's my first foray into really building something from the ground up, and it's true what they say, it's challenging in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still an ongoing conversation.
I'm curious your perspective on obviously all the acclaim justifiable for Rocket Man, and in subsequent years there have been some really interesting takes on music biopics. I mean, do you feel like a connection when you see like a Chalamet take on Bob Dylan, Jeremy Allen White is doing Springsteen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it feel like you have like a unique vantage point on those kind of productions?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, it's like it makes me nostalgic. It's a wonderful feeling because for a second you get to kid yourself that you're a rock star, and and I really like those movies. I'm really excited about the Springsteen movie, and I thought Complete Unknown was great, and the Beatles movies sounds amazing. Mhm. But yeah, I guess it's yeah. I don't know if it gives me a unique vantage point, but I'm glad they exist.
Yeah, well, it's also they're marrying
Yeah.
like really cool filmmakers with all these projects, right? It's whether it's Scott
Yeah.
Cooper or Sam Mendes, like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
that's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna end with this. The happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions, Taryn. You ready for this?
Yes. Yes.
Dogs or cats? Are you a dog or a cat person?
Dogs, for sure. For sure. Think, yeah, for sure. I don't know why. I'm a very intuitive person. It's just a gut thing.
Okay.
I like cats. I just wouldn't you know, I'd leave a baby with a dog. I wouldn't leave a baby with a cat. Would you?
No, I wouldn't. I'm a
You
dog guy.
wouldn't.
My dog's in the next room. through and through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you collect anything? What do you collect?
Regrets.
Sounds about right. Do you have a
But I'm
favorite video?
being silly.
Yeah.
No, I'm being silly. I don't collect anything, man.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite video game of all time? Probably answered this one on the Tetris Press Tour, I would imagine.
Oh, I have really enjoyed those two Jedi games. Is it Fallen Order and I can't remember the name of the other one. I played
Okay.
both of those to completion. I don't know if they're my favorite of all time, but they're the only thing I've played from start to finish over the past few years.
Okay. Now you just set the internet on fire of casting you as a Jedi. You know what you just did. You know what you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
The Dakota Johnson Memorial question, she asked me this. I ask everybody this. Would you rather have a mouthful of bees or one bee in your butt?
Wow. I, I think I would rather have one bee in my butt because I think presuming there's no wow. I mean, that really is a rock and a hard place, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no winner. There's
I
no
can't
winner here.
explain.
Yeah.
There's no winner here. I think I'm going to have to say a bee in my butt because there's probably a positive prism through which you could examine, get it stung in your bum, and it might be that, puts a little spring in your step, wakes
Yeah.
you up a little bit, whereas a mouthful of bees is not much good for an actor.
Thank you for taking it way too seriously. What's the what's the wallpaper on your phone?
Uh, it's got lots of text on it at the moment, but yeah, it's a photo of my mum and my stepdad after my mother ran the Race for Life earlier this year.
Amazing. I'm very happy she's doing well. Who's the last actor that you were mistaken for?
Um, I don't know actually. Oh, hang on. It's definitely happened. I've probably just blanked it out because my fragile ego couldn't take it.
Surely you must know it's me, Taron Egerton.
No,
There's only
um,
one.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Um, I feel like someone sent me a shot of an actor from from the OC or something not
Oh,
long ago or
like
something.
like Ben McKenzie or
I don't know. I've never seen this show.
it's
This is
okay.
not this. This is a crap answer, isn't it? I'm sorry,
No,
Josh.
it's okay.
I, d- yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
You're good. You're good. What's the worst note? You're gonna make up for it with this one. What's the worst note a director has ever given you?
Oh wow. Um. Well, before I really understood who Matthew was, he would deliver some insane notes to a novice actor, a young actor over a gold mic on the Warner Brothers sound stages at Leavesden, things to the effect of what the fuck was that, And luckily, usually by the time I'm on set and I'm doing my thing, I feel reasonably kind of robust. But yeah, his
Yeah.
style was a little challenging to begin with. But then as I got to know him, I just realized that, fair is foul and foul is fair and all that.
And finally, in the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor who always makes you happy. You see them on screen, you're immediately in a better mood.
I would say um oh probably Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, always amazing. A true chameleon. A movie that makes you sad.
Oh, uh Grizzly Man
Oh,
in
that's a
a
good
kind
one.
of a
Werner
good way.
Herzog. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I like it. Okay.
yeah.
And finally, a food that makes you confused. You don't get it. Why do people eat that?
What's Uni? Is it
Oh,
sea anemone? Uni.
sea urchin. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sea urchin, sea urchin, sea urchin. Can't get on board with that, man. And I will try anything, and I like almost anything. That stuff it belongs in the hard shell it came in because it shouldn't be.
Send it
It's
back into the
definitely,
ocean. Not
yeah,
meant for man.
definitely shouldn't. Yeah, that doesn't belong on rice. Belongs in the sea.
It's a delicacy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it tastes like hairspray mixed with no, it's horrible.
On a happier note,
Also,
yeah.
also the other one, monkfish liver. That's another thing I was convinced to try at a sushi place recently that I instantly regretted.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, on a
Good to
happier
know. Don't
note.
send over your complimentary monkfish liver if you see Taron Egerton at the sushi bar. He will refuse it. He'll throw it back at you.
I will send it straight back.
On a brighter note, circling back to the reason we got together today, congratulations, everybody. She Rides Shotgun is in theaters August 1st. This is a labor of love. This is a small film. Give it some love. A passion project for Taron. He's fantastic in it. And Smoke. People by now, people are really catching on to this. The reviews are great. It's you and Dennis Lehane need to keep doing this because it's working out. You're two for two.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you. So lovely seeing you, mate. Have a great time in San Diego. It's always such a pleasure.
Thanks, buddy. I'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks,
All
bro.
right.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.